Hi again, welcome back to Lulling Lore. Tonight, we are traveling much further back. Past the fog of Victorian London. Past the medieval castles and their cold stone corridors. All the way back, to Rome. Ancient Rome. Where marble gleamed under a Mediterranean sun, and the smell of rose oil drifted through open courtyards at dawn. So settle in. Let the warmth of it find you. Close your eyes if you'd like. And let us whisper together through the beauty rituals, the vanities, the secrets, and the forgotten elegance of a world that ruled the earth for 1,000 years. 67 whispers are waiting. Breathe. And let us begin. A Roman woman wakes before the household stirs. The room is cool. The light, thin and golden, slips through a narrow window onto a table crowded with small clay pots and glass vials. This is her world before the world begins. The first thing she reaches for is a polished bronze mirror. Not glass, Rome has no glass mirrors yet. The reflection is warm, slightly amber, like looking at yourself through candlelight. She does not wash with soap as we know it. Instead, she uses a small tool called a strigil, a curved bronze blade, to scrape away oil and dead skin. This is cleansing. This is ancient exfoliation. Olive oil is everywhere on her table. She uses it to remove yesterday's coal from beneath her eyes. She uses it to soften her hands before she sleeps. She uses it the way we use water. Her face powder is made from chalk or white lead. She pats it on with a soft cloth, smoothing it across her forehead, her cheeks, her chin. Pale skin is the ideal. It signals that she does not labor in the sun. That she belongs to leisure. That she is, in some quiet way, untouchable. Rouge comes next. Ground red ochre, mixed with fat, pressed into a small pot. She applies it high on her cheekbones with her fingertips. The color blooms like a rose opened in warm weather. Her lips she stains with wine dregs. Or crushed mulberries. Or a paste of red iron oxide that lasts all day and tastes faintly of earth. Eyebrows are darkened with a fine brush dipped in soot or powdered antimony. Romans prefer a strong brow. Some even brush them toward the center, suggesting they nearly meet, a look considered particularly striking. The final touch at the morning table, perfume. Dabbed at the wrists, the throat, behind the ears. It smells of rose, of saffron, of myrrh carried in small ships from the far edges of the known world. She rises. The day may begin. To understand a Roman woman's hair is to understand her entire social world. The style she wore told you everything: her status, her virtue, her husband's wealth, her own ambitions. A slave girl's hair is simply braided. Functional. Unadorned. But a patrician woman's hair is a monument. Her ornatrix, her personal hair slave, begins work while the morning is still cool. She uses heated iron rods, wrapped in cloth to protect the hands, to coil and curl each strand. The smell of scorched hair drifts through the chamber. A faint, familiar smell. Almost modern. In the height of Roman fashion, hair is piled in elaborate stacked curls above the forehead. Some styles rise several inches, an architecture of ringlets built with pins, wire, and patience. A single elaborate hairstyle could take hours. If the ornatrix made a mistake, pulled too hard, or burned a curl, she risked her mistress's fury. Roman poets wrote about styluses thrown in anger. About bruises. Hairpins are made of ivory, bone, silver, tortoiseshell. The finest are carved into tiny figures: a goddess, a serpent, a crescent moon. Some are tipped with pearls. A single pearl hairpin could be worth more than the woman who wore it in her hair. Wigs are fashionable and entirely accepted. Blonde hair, so rare in Rome, is prized above all. It is imported, cut from the heads of conquered Germanic women and sewn onto net caps. Dark wigs come from India. Red from the Celtic provinces. A Roman noblewoman might own a wardrobe of hair the way we own shoes. Hair dye is attempted, though with varied results. A mixture of walnut shells and leech solution promises dark, lustrous color. Saffron promises gold. Some women go bald in their pursuit of beauty. Roman writers note this with a mixture of sympathy and satisfaction. And when the day is done, the ornatrix returns. She unwinds each pin, uncoils each curl, combs out the day. The hair falls soft around the shoulders. The monument, quietly, comes undone. In the center of every Roman city, there is a place of extraordinary ritual. The bathhouse. The thermae. It is not merely bathing. It is the social heartbeat of the empire. You enter through a cool anteroom, undress, hand your clothes to an attendant, and step forward into a world of steam and marble. The frigidarium is first. A cold plunge pool, often open to the sky. The water is clear and startling. You gasp. Your skin contracts. Something in you wakes up. Then the tepidarium, a warm room, heated by air flowing beneath the floor through terracotta pipes. You feel it rising through the stone under your feet. A soft, invisible warmth. Finally, the caldarium. The hot room. Steam so thick you can barely see across it. The air smells of mineral water, of bodies, of the cedar oil rubbed into the wooden benches. Attendants move through the steam with jars of olive oil mixed with powdered pumice. They pour it over your skin and scrape it away with a strigil. Everything lifts, the dust of the day, the weariness, the very top layer of yourself. Some bathhouses offer a resin treatment for body hair removal. It is applied warm and pulled away. Romans prefer smoothness. Smoothness is civilized. Smoothness is Roman. Women and men bathe separately, or at different hours. But in some establishments, the separation is more porous. Roman moralists complain about this often. Their complaints suggest it happened quite a lot. In the dressing rooms, thieves are common. Signs carved in stone warn bathers to watch their belongings. 2,000 years later, archaeologists find these signs still intact, still stern. After bathing, attendants offer massage. Oil infused with lavender, or rose, or cedar is worked into the muscles of the back, the neck, the feet. The smell of it is extraordinary. Warm oil and living stone and steam. It might be the most Roman smell of all. Some wealthy Romans build private bathhouses in their villas. Heated floors. Mosaic walls. A garden beyond the window. They bathe alone, or in pairs, as the afternoon light falls soft and slow across the water. These are the rooms that archaeologists find and stand in silently. These are the rooms that still feel inhabited. Outside the bathhouse, vendors sell snacks, olives, bread, small fried things that leave grease on your fingers. You eat standing, still warm from the water, the evening air cool on your damp skin. This is pleasure. This is the Roman idea of a perfect hour. Rome smells of roses. This is not a metaphor. In season, the city is draped in them, rose petals on banquet floors, rose water in fountains, rose oil in every perfumer's shop on the Via Sacra. The Romans are the first great perfume culture of the Western world. A perfumer is called an unguentarius. His shop is small and fragrant and slightly overwhelming. Glass bottles line the shelves, Syrian glass, blown thin as a whisper. Inside, oils of iris, of cassia, of bitter almond, of frankincense. Perfume is not a luxury in Rome. It is a necessity. You wear it to the forum, to the theater, to the funeral. You anoint your dead with it. The most expensive perfume in the ancient world is called spikenard, extracted from a plant that grows only in the Himalayas and travels months by caravan to reach Roman markets. A small jar of it costs more than a laborer earns in a year. Cleopatra is said to have soaked the sails of her ship in it before meeting Mark Antony. He smelled her arrival before he saw her. Roses are so beloved that the Romans create entire festivals around them. The Rosalia, celebrated in spring, involves scattering rose petals over the graves of the dead. Even in death, the Romans want to be beautiful. Jewelry is extraordinary. Gold earrings shaped like tiny amphorae. Bracelets coiled like serpents, their eyes set with garnets. Rings on every finger, sometimes 2 or 3 per hand. Emeralds come from Egypt. Sapphires from Ceylon. Pearls from the Persian Gulf, swallowed whole by divers and recovered in ways best not imagined. A Roman noblewoman might own a jewelry box, a small cedar chest lined with cloth, containing pieces worth a modest fortune. These boxes are locked. The key is worn at the wrist. Some of these boxes, and their contents, have been found by archaeologists. Still locked. The key long gone. Amber is worn as both jewelry and medicine. It is believed to protect children from illness when worn around the neck. Wealthy Roman mothers string amber beads and fasten them there with soft cord. The amber comes from the Baltic Sea, 2,000 miles away. Carried south by traders who may never have seen Rome themselves. Cosmetic boxes are their own beautiful objects, carved bone, hammered silver, painted terracotta. Inside, tiny compartments hold each preparation separately. These boxes are intimate things. Personal in a way that public life could never be. Several have been found still containing traces of their original contents. 2,000 years old. Still faintly pink. Still faintly fragrant. Roman men, too, stand before the mirror. Perhaps longer than they would admit. This is a culture that prizes the well-maintained body as a sign of discipline, of civic virtue, of Romanness itself. A Roman man is shaved daily, or as close to daily as his barber allows. The tonsure works with a straight iron razor and water. No soap, no cream. The blade against skin. Cuts are common. Spiderwebs are pressed to them to stop the bleeding. This is not unusual. This is Tuesday morning. The barbershop, the Tunstrina, is a social institution. Men gather there not merely to be shaved but to talk. About politics, about games, about neighbors. It is loud, opinionated, and often the first place news travels. Young men treasure the first shaving of their beard. It is a rite of passage, sometimes celebrated with a small ceremony. The cut hairs are gathered, placed in a golden box, and offered to the household gods. Even something as soft and brief as beard hair is made sacred. Hair oil for men is common, pressed from olive, or infused with myrtle. It is combed through and smoothed back. The ideal is neat, not elaborate. Classical restraint applied to the scalp. Bald men suffer in Roman culture. Julius Caesar, famously sensitive about his thinning hair, combed long strands forward from the back and wore his laurel wreath low on the forehead. He was the most powerful man in the world. And still worried about his hair. Roman men also used skin preparations, creams made with lanolin and rose water to protect against the sun and wind. Soldiers rub animal fat into cracked skin after long marches. Beauty, for a Roman man, is not vanity. It is maintenance. It is pride. It is the care of something that belongs to Rome. Teeth are cleaned with powdered pumice mixed with salt, sometimes with the addition of ground charcoal. Applied with a cloth or a small ivory pick. Urine, specifically aged urine, for its ammonia content, is used as a mouth rinse in some Roman households. Portuguese urine was considered particularly effective, and was apparently imported for this purpose. History is not always delicate. Not all Roman beauty lives in marble villas and scented baths. Much of it lives in the shadows. In the cramped apartments of the insulae, the towering tenement blocks where most Romans actually lived. Here, beauty is practiced with whatever can be found. With patience. With ingenuity. A woman in a third-floor apartment grinds charcoal on a flat stone and mixes it with a drop of oil to make her coal. She applies it with a thin stick of bone. She has no ornatrix. She does her own hair in a bronze fragment propped against the wall. She is beautiful in the way that most beauty actually is, unremarked, unpainted by history, and absolutely real. Freckles are considered imperfections to be faded. A mixture of crushed lentils and honey is applied to the skin overnight. Blemishes are treated with barley flour and butter. With fig milk. With the ashes of snails. Roman women read beauty advice in manuscripts passed between households, copied by hand. Some of this advice survives. Some of it is extraordinary. Some of it is alarming. A Roman poet named Ovid writes an entire manual of beauty advice for women called Medicamina Faciae Feminii, the cosmetics of the female face. He recommends a face mask made from ground barley, eggs, crushed antler, narcissus bulb, honey, and spelt flour. It smells terrible, he admits. But in the morning, your skin will glow like polished ivory. Nail care is important and carefully attended to. Small iron files. Olive oil worked into the cuticles. Staining with natural dyes, henna, perhaps, or red ochre. A woman's hands tell a story. Romans read them carefully. Sleep itself is considered a beauty treatment. Roman beauty writers advise their readers to sleep on their back, undisturbed, in a cool room. To sleep well is to wake beautiful. This is ancient advice. And it is not wrong. In the market, beauty merchants sell alongside spice traders and cloth merchants. Little pots of color stacked in rows. Vials of scented oil catching the light. A young girl stops and looks at them with longing. Her mother pulls her gently onward. But she looks back. Roman beauty does not vanish when Rome falls. It travels. It hides in manuscripts. It survives in the recipes copied by medieval monks who did not always understand what they were preserving. It surfaces again in the Renaissance. In the perfumeries of Florence. In the powder rooms of Versailles. In 1,000 quiet dressing tables across 2,000 years. Somewhere, beneath the ruins of a Roman villa, there is still a small glass vial. Sealed. Intact. Inside, the remains of a perfume. Rose, perhaps. Or saffron. Or something we no longer have a name for. The woman who owned it has been gone for 2,000 years. But the scent is still there. Waiting. And tonight, as you drift towards sleep, carry this with you. Beauty, in every age, is the same quiet wish. To be seen. To be cared for. To take one small, impermanent thing, a curl of hair, a bloom of color on the cheek, a drop of something fragrant at the wrist, and make it, for a moment, last. The Romans knew this. And so, in the soft darkness, do you. And so, wanderer, our 67 whispers have come to rest. Ancient Rome. A world of marble and rose oil, of bronze mirrors and borrowed beauty, of women and men who stood before their reflections just as we do, wondering, hoping, tending to themselves with whatever they had. The empire is gone. But the small, human gestures remain. In the archaeology. In the poetry. In the ancient instinct to reach for color, for fragrance, for light. Rest now. Let the warmth of it settle over you. You are part of a very long, very beautiful story. Sleep well, wanderer.